Most police officers work hard to keep us safe, but as these dashcam videos show, there are still some situations that even law enforcement are not ready to handle. Number 13. In December of 2017, just a week before Christmas, this man was busy impersonating a police officer and pulling over numerous innocent citizens. He had fake lights on his car and even had a dash cam to record himself while on this massive ego trip. The person on the hood has no idea that they are being stalked, searched, and handcuffed by a man with absolutely no affiliation with law enforcement. Once his hands are behind his back, this poor innocent person is at the complete mercy of a stranger.
Copy, I'll look at it, thanks. 1629.
Police in Tucson, Arizona have never revealed what happened to the man next, but he appears to be led into the back of the impersonator's vehicle with his hands cuffed. I can only imagine what sort of terrible activities happened from there, and I hope he made it out okay. Number 12. Police in Louisville, Kentucky are conducting a late night stop for a traffic violation at 3:30 a.m. Everything seems relatively normal until they hear a muffled scream coming from the trunk. Arms drawn, they pop the trunk only to find a bound man inside. Police question the man and learn more about his story. Sean Blomer was working the night shift at a Circle K gas station when 4 crazed maniacs jumped him at random. They roughed him up badly and then stuffed him in the trunk of his own car. By the time the police had pulled them over, Sean had been in the trunk for 4 hours and was passing in and out of consciousness. I shudder to think how easily this could have happened to any one of us and what they probably would have done with him that night had the cops not intervened. Number 11. A police officer in Newcastle, Oklahoma is patrolling the highway one afternoon when he feels a change in atmosphere. Everything feels still and way too calm. There's not a single bird singing or even a hint of breeze. As the swirling skies begin to darken overhead and the rain starts to pour, the officer realizes that a tornado is forming. He's much too close to escape. There's not much he can do now except for park and pray.
If you need me to. Affirmative, we got debris, appears to be country club, and Highway 37, lots of debris, got power flashes.
He's eventually forced to drive in reverse when the tornado comes towards him and swallows a building whole just to his right. Reports of downed power lines and flying debris flood his radio as the tornado blasts through the town. All this brave officer can do is follow in the wake of the tornado and assist survivors however he can. By the time the treacherous weather passed, dozens of lives had been lost. Number 10. A police officer named Adam Brunswick is the only officer patrolling Spooner, Wisconsin when he makes this startling discovery. A child in a yellow shopping cart is speeding out of the Dollar General store parking lot and heading directly into traffic. Officer Brunswick knows that there is no safe way to stop the cart before it reaches the road, so he puts on his emergency lights and parks in the middle of the busy highway to stop traffic. He then bravely rushes out of his car and grabs the child before any harm is done. As the mother would later explain, she was loading another child in the car when her shopping cart had slipped away on its own with her infant child inside.
She was just hysterical.
It's not often that officer.
She's in tears and unable to properly thank the officer for saving her child's life. Number 9. This dashcam footage reveals a somber conversation between a police officer and a man who has made a serious mistake that can never be taken back.
I hate to tell you, but I checked you going 116 the other way, and I turned around and I was trying to catch you. That's going to weigh on me that I didn't catch you before.
Wait, man, I killed somebody.
Yeah.
On New Year's Eve, this impaired driver in Canadian County, Oklahoma, took the lives of 2 innocent drivers while going well over 100 miles per hour. Craig Maker had been charged with 2 serious felonies that could very well place him in prison for life. Records indicate that this is his 5th DUI arrest. He has not been sentenced yet and clearly shows remorse in this video. After seeing this video, let me know how long you would give him behind bars if you were the judge. Number 8. Dashcam footage from Gautier, Mississippi shows this police officer getting the surprise of a lifetime. Giant clouds are brewing overhead when all of a sudden, a fiery streak of lightning strikes less than a quarter mile away without warning. The bolt is so bright that the police officer nearly goes blind. He pulls off the road and locates the site of the blast, where he discovers a smoldering chunk of cement that's still smoking. My question is, what caused the lightning bolt to literally catch fire like that? I've seen lightning strikes in other dashcam videos, and they never involve fire. Apparently, it didn't hit a power generator or a power line, so if you can explain this visual phenomenon, then please let me know. Number 7. A South Wales police helicopter is flying 1,000 feet above the Bristol Channel when its thermal camera detects a perfectly round sphere in the distance. The pilot quickly radios in the visual disturbance to ground control, but they can't seem to find anything matching the description on their radar equipment. That's when the pilot realizes he can't actually see the sphere with his own eyes, only the thermal camera can. Maybe this was a camera malfunction, or maybe this circular object has some sort of advanced cloaking properties. Either way, there's been no suitable explanation for this perplexing sighting, and here's the weirdest part. When the pilot zooms in for a closer look, the sphere opens into what could very well be some sort of free-roaming vortex. If this really is a portal, then who knows what's on the other side. Number 6. A police officer in Hamilton Township, New Jersey, is doing neighborhood patrols when a bright white light suddenly streaks across the sky. This aerial fireball was noticed by hundreds of other locals as well. It could just be me, but I feel like there's been an increase in meteorite sightings over the past few months. What exactly this could mean, if anything, I'll leave up to you to decide. Number 5. A deputy in Pinellas County, Florida, is sitting in the median checking for speeders when suddenly an aircraft passes by way too close overhead. You can tell from how the plane unsteadily wobbles that the pilot has completely lost control. A second deputy's dashcam catches another angle of the plane's descent as it falls towards the ground. The two officers race over to the scene and find a path of fallen trees and twisted metal strewn in the road. They block off the road and call emergency medical services. As it turns out, this was the personal aircraft of a Major League Baseball player named Roy Halladay. An autopsy revealed multiple intoxicants in the athlete's system while operating the plane. Number 4. It's a scorching hot summer day in Los Angeles. When police stop a suspicious man for questioning, he gives the officer a name and a good reason for being out here by himself.
You live around here, buddy? No. Where you live at?
Down the road by Pineville.
Pineville?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you have any form of identification on you?
No, man.
What's your name?
Robert Jones.
Robert Jones?
Uh-huh.
Right now, what's your address?
I don't have an address. I'm at the hotel. We're working on houses and stuff like that, the roofing.
Robert Smith says that he is working for his brother's roofing company and staying with him at a hotel. He jogs 12 miles a day no matter what, which is why he's out here in 113-degree weather. There's just one problem.
What is? We got an escapee.
Oh. Where from?
Prison.
The suspicious officer radios dispatch and tries to match Robert Smith's features with those of an escaped prisoner. He compares eye colors, tattoos, facial hair, and other personal identifiers.
You know the bad thing about it?
What's that?
You're matching up to him.
Come on. Well, that sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Despite all of these matches, the officer completely buys his roofing story and decides to let him go.
I promise you, I'm not no serious an escapee.
You'd have done run by now. You know that yourself. You'd have done run by now.
No.
Later, the officer would discover that Robert Smith is actually Richard Lee McNair, the escaped convict he was looking for. The man had escaped from prison 2 other times. One time he actually escaped by mailing himself out in a box. Richard had since been caught and is serving a life sentence for taking another man's life with a firearm. On that day, however, he was simply the convict who got away. Number 3. A New Jersey police officer is making a routine traffic stop late at night on a poorly lit road. He starts to head back towards his car to run the license, but then he spots something out of the corner of his eye and demonstrates some impressive reflexes.
Copy.
The officer skillfully rolls away from a moving car just in time to avoid being flattened. I'm really surprised the officer was able to react so quickly with a belt full of heavy equipment, but then again his adrenaline probably kicked in before he even fully knew what was going on. Props to this officer for having such a fast reaction time. Hopefully the city puts some street lights up soon for better visibility in the future. Number 2. When a quick-thinking officer responds to a call of a burning vehicle in Glen Heights, Texas, he knows exactly what to do. The car is in danger of catching the nearby restaurant on fire, so he pulls up and takes care of the situation fast and efficiently. The brave officer takes his life into his own hands and bumps the car into the parking lot, away from the building. The vehicle could have exploded at any time with enough force to cover him in flames and piping hot debris. Before we get to number 1, my name is Chills and I hope you're enjoying my narration. If you're curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that follow button to find out. I'm currently doing a super poll on my Instagram. If you believe ghosts are real, then go to my most recent photo and tap the like button. If you don't, DM me saying why. When you're done, come right back to this video to find out the number 1 entry. Also, follow me on Twitter at YTChills because that's where I post video updates. It's a proven fact that generosity makes you a happier person. So if you're generous enough to hit that subscribe button and the bell beside it, then thank you. This way you'll be notified of the new videos I upload every Thursday and Sunday. Number 1. This police dashcam footage was taken in a quiet neighborhood in South Jersey. Officers and gas line workers were trying hard to find a reported gas leak somewhere in the area, but sadly they were not able to find it in time to prevent this from happening. 15 people were caught in the blast. Most frightening of all, this ordinary neighborhood seems no different than anywhere else, which means none of us are totally safe. Animal mutations can happen for a wide variety of reasons. Sometimes it's genetic, and sometimes it's because of changes in the environment. But in the most terrifying of cases, it's the result of underground experiments that are so sinister, they have to be kept secret from the rest of the world.